Hello friends, you're welcome to the Pioneer STEM Show and thank you again for keeping it a date with us. My name is Choma Omolaye and as usual,
I am David Adeosun.
Absolutely. Remember, this is the show where we showcase activities, personalities around science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And guess what we have cooking for you today?
Yes, today we have a robotics and AI engineer.
His name is Chinedu Ernest. He is a computer vision engineer. Computer vision engineer. Have you heard of that combination before? So very soon you get to meet him. He developed, or him and his group, developed is a wearable device, is a smart face cap.
Yes.
I guess you met with him more in person. Could you tell us more about this innovation?
You guys will get to see how it works. So it's a cap, not just an ordinary face cap. It actually can measure your height, which is not good for short people like myself. So I'm not a fan of that technology.
Hello, if you go to the hospital or anywhere and you need your height measured, you must measure whether you're short or tall.
Oh, that's...
So it's nice in a technology that just wear the face cap and not like stand on the wall, or use a tape rule, kind of thing. This is still the Pioneer STEM Show, and when we return, we have our guest. Stay with us and learn. Welcome back to the Pioneer STEM Show. And so we have our guest, which I know you have all been waiting for. His name is Ernest Chinedu. Thank you so much for coming on today's show within a short time notice and with your busy schedule. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tell us more about you and being a computer vision engineer.
Okay, so I'm Chinedu Ernest. I'm a graduate electronic engineering, University of Nigeria, Nsukka.
Yay!
So, after my study, I was someone who was always passionate about tech. So while in school, we established a club, we called it C21.
Oh, wow.
So C21 club, more like Century 21 club.
Shout out to C21 group.
Yes, so
all right.
It's a group that has to do with experts from different fields. We also get experts outside the school to come train students inside the school. So we're able to build ourselves inside the school environment. And that helped a lot. It's more like I was working ahead of my curriculum.
You were absolutely working ahead.
Yes, so.
And so someone like me, I'm eager to know, what was your final year project? Because people like you will smash it.
Okay,
what was it about, finally?
Yes, in my final year, I was someone who, at that time, had interest in seeing automation, process automation.
Okay.
As at that time. So,
all right.
I saw the need to automate the fabric, a particular aspect of the fabric industry where they measure and cut and all that. So I built a machine that you just type the number of yards you want to cut, it will lose it and cut it automatically. So you don't need to use a tape and all those things.
Where's that machine, please? I'm sure if you're a tailor or a fashionista or a designer, you should be looking for that tape right now. That's machine right now.
Yes.
Can you rebuild it? Do you still have knowledge?
Of course.
So he's here. Although he's here for something else though. So how did you then metamorphose into becoming a computer vision engineer and into this field of robotics and AI?
Okay, so after my days in university, exposure, I started going to places, I started seeing tech, more advanced tech, and I saw something that was so fascinating that has to do with the whole robotics, intelligence, and that piqued my interest. And from there, I went into robotics, and today I'm talking about computer vision, building intelligence and vision. The same way your eyes can look at the environment and understand everything it can see, we want to also build intelligence in cameras. So your camera can see everything, but can it understand it the way you're understanding it?
Absolutely.
That's the question. So we started building intelligence, developing algorithms that will make cameras to understand the environment.
Like object detection.
Yes, object detection.
Classification.
So imagine building a robot that is meant to climb a table. So it needs to know how high the table is, to know how much it needs to project, for it to jump.
That is interesting and massive.
Yes.
So what, either as a group or as a person, have you developed, so far throughout your career life?
Okay, so I'm a kind of person that is interested in building other people alongside.
Yeah.
So I was so passionate
That's
to
my kind of guy.
establish. So I founded a company called Project Cage Technology
That's
Limited.
it.
So my interest is, if you want to show me how much you're good in what you do, then show me a project that you've done. So that was the idea behind Project Cage. So
Yeah.
Project Cage is all about building a tech project and then showcasing it to the world.
That's it.
So we train students, we teach them how to build projects. Like even the projects that I'll be showcasing today was not built by me. It
Yeah.
was built by students that I trained. So I
Oh,
just showed them
wow.
how to do it and they did it themselves.
Oh,
So,
wow. So tell us more about this, your smart cap, by the way.
okay, so the smart cap is a kind of cap that can actually measure your height. So it has a rechargeable capability. It has a sensor ultrasonic sensor to read how high
Absolutely.
you
That
are,
was
to
very
know how tall
creative.
you are. Then, of course, it is extendable. So you can, no matter how big your head is or how small, I believe the cap can work for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I exceptionally love the way you guys played around the ultrasonic sensor, because if you agree
Yes.
with me, most people use ultrasonic sensor maybe in vehicles,
Robotic cars.
robot cars,
Yes.
to just detect object
Yes.
right from a distance. So it was, I mean, it's novel, having put it in this form. So how did the students feel, about it?
When we started, they were like, how is it going to work? So, but when we taught them how to use the ultrasonic sensor,
Yeah,
and they started having an idea of, oh,
absolutely.
okay, so that's how we'll be able to measure the height.
What's the key microcontroller in it?
Raspberry Pi Pico.
Oh, Raspberry Pi Pico. And why
Yes.
that though?
Two things. Raspberry Pi Pico gives the ability to have access to the code.
Yeah,
So even right now, we can access the code. If you want the code, we just plug a USB cable, you pick it.
absolutely.
So it doesn't go down to directly to zeros and one like other
Okay.
microcontrollers that
Okay,
goes direct to machine
it's good to know.
code. So you can access the code, and apart from that, it has a lot of features that makes
Yeah.
it have an edge over the conventional microcontrollers, like based on speed, processing power, and the memory capacity.
Okay. Okay. I know the showcase proper is
Yes.
coming. True or false? Please answer. AI is coming to replace jobs. True or false? You're on air.
It
You're on
is
camera.
really not replacing jobs.
It's not. Okay.
Yes.
Why that though?
Why I say so is actually coming to create more jobs, because while we create a lot of AI solutions, we need people to manage those solutions.
That's
We
it.
need people to, so all we are now asking people to do is to begin to upskill, learn new skills, so that when this revolution, we are already in it, to
That's
say
it.
we are there right now.
We are in it.
So we need people to learn this skill and find a way to, get involved in what is happening.
Absolutely.
Because a whole lot is happening. If you come into the videography world,
Yeah.
you can do a lot using AI today. In fact, you can make a very nice portrait without you meeting any photographer. So
Yes. So you see that you can make a
Yes.
very nice
In
portrait
fact, we are
without
even using
meeting
it.
any photographer. So where does that leave our photographers?
So the photographers need to now learn the videos. They are making it look more
That's
nice.
it.
So if you look at the content we are creating in Project Cage, you realize that the contents are AI driven.
Yeah.
So the way we developed content 10 years ago is not the same way we do today.
Now
There's
that's
a whole
true.
lot of change.
That is true.
A whole lot of change. Developing captions for video today is like in split of seconds.
Yeah.
But those days, a lot of work needs
That's
to be
it.
done.
Thank you so much. What is the future of robotics and AI?
The reality is that in Africa, we are so much behind because we really have, we just have very few people that are even aware in terms of the right skill to learn. We also have people that really don't even fit into the robotics job demands, the AI job demands. So it's more like we need to equip a lot of our youths in the area of robotics and AI so that they will be able to fit into what is coming. Because a lot of automations are going into factories, industries, I mean, offices. So we need people to actually manage those technologies. So that's why we think,
Absolutely.
yes.
So I am curious to know, right? Aside building the cap with your students, who wrote the codes?
The children actually did. All
Oh,
we were doing was providing proper guidance.
guidance. So
Yes.
what programming language did
Okay,
they use?
they used Python. So before
Python.
now, they've been learning Scratch,
I
and
was going
it
to
was so
ask.
easy for them to learn
Migrate.
Python. And with Python, they were able to do that.
So what on what IDE? So IDE means Integrated Development Environment.
Yes.
All right. So what IDE did they use for the
Okay,
Python?
they use Tony
Tony.
IDE.
Could you spell it for our audience?
THONNY.
THONNY. Actually, it's my first time hearing it. So well done. So if you want to have like a recap again of what the resources that were used for the hardware,
Okay.
and I'm also very curious to learn about, because that cap was not bought in the market, was it?
Yes.
It's not like it wasn't bought in the market.
They actually built the cap.
So that's the amazing part, because at first when I saw it, I thought, oh, an already made cap, and then so the art part of putting that together, how did you manage the whole process?
Okay, so we first of all we bought the normal cap.
Okay,
so
of
they
course.
saw how the cap looks, and with that they had an idea of, okay, we need to make here look like this, like that, and we were able to use carton, then some fabric materials, and we used a lot of gum. If you look at the cap, there was no part that was sewn, so it's purely gummed together. So while we were embedding the components together, we were gumming it alongside.
Yes, thank you. And good enough that most of the components are flat.
Yes,
they are not
very
so
flat.
bulky. So if I recall, you mentioned the ultrasonic sensor.
Yes.
I just want to show our audience that we have these things on set. So this is an ultrasonic sensor, if you can see. And so during the showcase session, you will see the ultrasonic sensor on the smart cap. So this is an ultrasonic sensor, as you can see, right? It's right here on set. And so during the showcase session, you will see it on the face cap. And what else did you use again?
So we use an OLED screen. We use the battery.
The battery.
The LiPo battery.
Yes, so we have one here, but I'm sure you used the smaller one. So this is an example. So there are different sizes, different forms. So he used the smaller one. And then you mentioned that you used a microcontroller, which is a Raspberry.
We use the Raspberry Pi Pico.
Yeah, Pico actually. So on set we have 2 microcontrollers, Arduino. Like I asked you before, can Arduino do the same job?
Arduino can be used.
Yeah, so we have the Arduino here. All right, so this is the Arduino Uno actually, and of course we have the Raspberry, and so this is what the Raspberry, although this is the Raspberry Pi 0W. Okay, so this looks like what? So it's small enough to also fit into the car, right? Awesome.
This is more powerful.
This is even more powerful. Yes. All right, but for a small project like this, you really don't need something.
But cost is a factor.
Cost is a factor.
How much you spend building the car.
Absolutely. All right. So it's been an amazing time, learning these things with you. Have you taught your students projects that you've taught your students to build over the years? Okay,
so over time, Project Cage is not just a baby company, So we built a lot of projects. Like they have learned how to build basic robotic cars, obstacle cars, line following cars.
Awesome.
Apply some of the basic concept that I've taught them in agriculture, like smart irrigation system. So they've been able to build projects like that. They're even able to make their own power bank, basic power bank.
Oh my God, so your students are blessed.
They learn 3D printing, 3D modeling and printing, because we have a 3D printer. So,
awesome.
So the 3D printer, they've been able to make the casing. So they design their power bank with their name inscribed on it.
Wow.
Their school logo on it. So
wow. A big shout out to all students that have learned from Mr. Chinedu here. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
a well-expatiated viewpoint. I mean,
Thank you.
you have really proven that you are the expert. And I hope viewers at home, you've enjoyed every bit of this session. It's not over yet. The fun and learning part still continues when he starts to showcase the smart cap that can measure your height. This is still the Pioneer STEM Show. Stay with us and learn. We'll be right back.
What exactly is this?
Okay, this is a smart cap.
Okay.
A cap that has the ability to measure your height, how tall you are.
Amazing.
Yes.
So what are the components that makes this a smart wearable device?
Okay, so basically the components are not so complicated. We just have the normal common ultrasonic sensor here.
Okay.
Then we have our screen. That's the TFT screen here.
Is that an OLED screen? What kind of screen is
Okay,
that?
this is an OLED.
Okay.
Yeah, OLED screen. Then the buzzer. Then we have a tiny button.
Okay.
Inside it is a tiny battery embedded. And then the microcontroller you use here is Raspberry Pi Pico.
Amazing.
Yes.
So what name did you give to this?
We just called it Smart Cap.
Smart cap. Okay. Is it patented yet?
No, it's not patented.
Why is that, sir?
It's still undergoing upgrades. We've not
Okay.
concluded with the final design. So,
Okay, so talking about like final design, do you think I believe since it's electronics, it should be waterproof. People might want to wash it. Is that a possible upgrade sometime in the
definitely.
future?
So that's one of the things we factored in.
Okay.
And also, like while using it, you're sweating. You want to avoid heat transfer. I mean, sweat transfer from person to another. Then another upgrade is that has to do with the medical part. You want to get your temperature, your pulse rate, and all of those data can be displayed here on the screen.
Amazing. Is there any way AI can be integrated in a gadget like this?
Yes, AI can be integrated. For instance, let's say you want the cap to, we have technologies that can even monitor your thinking. Like,
That's true.
so
I
imagine
believe,
you want to put on this cap to control gadgets in the house. You just think of offing something, it goes off like that.
I believe Elon is working on something similar and a few
Yes.
other companies.
Yes, definitely.
So using, is it brain waves or signals?
Yes, brainwaves, EEG, those tech.
Fantastic. So this is just pretty much the beginning.
Yes, the
Talking
beginning.
about
This is like version 1.
version 1, amazing. I'm interested. I want to test this out.
Okay, so we can test it.
Hope it won't say my height to everyone watching, to just whisper it if it's possible.
Okay, for us to test, you can see the switch here.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch it on. Then, so the moment I on it, looking at the screen, you can see height meter, then start training, then it says press button. So I put it on. So I'm going to ensure that this is in line with the top of your head, because your height starts from here, not here.
Oh.
Yes, so then I will just tap this button over here. So it begins to scan to get your height. It's done. So right now we have your height.
Which is?
So we can see how tall you are, 1.62 meters.
That's 5'3" feet.
Yes.
Amazing. So what's the sound for the buzz?
So the last sound is more like resetting back. So
Okay.
I can take another new height.
Okay.
Yes. So with the sound, we're able to know what state the cap is at every point, whether it's scanning or it's done scanning and all of that.
So what are the real use case of this in the application of this kind of technology?
Okay, so we find this very useful in hospitals because I know if you visit hospitals, they have this very long tape roof.
Correct.
That is even occupying so much space. They ask you to come and stand, just measure, just simple data, height, just height, and you're taking a lot of space. While you can have a cap, mobile, you can travel with this. Anywhere you find yourself, you can actually get your height anywhere, regardless of location, environment. Even if you are in your bedroom, you can take your height right there. So that's
amazing. I'm curious to see the version 10 of this that has heart monitor, that has parts, temperature, what else?
Yeah, temperature, your pulse rates.
The pulse rate, amazing. So it will be quite useful for medical, just more than height. For now, it's just height.
Yes.
So I'm
now
curious
it's
to see
just
what this
height.
become. So
But
how?
I also forgot to mention that you can actually recharge.
Okay, so it is rechargeable.
Yes, rechargeable.
That's fantastic. Well, you've seen it, you've heard it. Thank you for joining us. This is the Pioneer STEM Show where you see tech of all sorts here in Nigeria. Keep watching. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Pioneer STEM Show. And for us, we've had a lot of fun and learning here. I exceptionally love the way the students remodeled the cap to fit the purpose of what they want to build, and that the cap, the smart cap, can be expandable to do other things, thermometer, like he mentioned, like I said, pulse sensor, exactly. So I love the fact that they are futuristic about, will I call it their innovation. What would you say stood out for you today?
Okay, so the smart cap was very incredible, it was new. And what stood out for me was the fact that we have wearable tech, even on our soil here in Nigeria.
That's right.
That's beautiful. And, with the rise and fall of wearable AI tech that we see nowadays, it's heartwarming to know that there's something, it's still very much in the base model, but there's potential to scale, to grow. And, with AI pins, and wearable AI devices, where the hype is really there, but then the products actually come out, and then you see how very mediocre they are and can't function properly. But I hope to see something great, better come out of this.
And I know backstage you had mentioned a wearable device, some company that you saw. What was it again?
Okay, so they had to, the gadgets, you wear it like a pin, like this mic.
Oh, wow.
And you get to ask it questions, pretty much like ChatGPT, but on your clothes.
Oh, wow.
Take it wherever you want to go to. But when the device actually came out, it was incredibly slow and was filled with errors and couldn't answer properly. I wouldn't want to name it. I
love that. Because people wouldn't really see you take up your phone to start asking.
Yes, you don't need to.
You talk to the device like is your angel.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is great.
Your angel, like, could you tell me more about this topic? And then it's really
it will do
interesting.
Yeah, great idea, terrible execution.
Yeah, interesting. A big shout out to the first. She's trending now. To the first black woman to attain PhD in robotics from the University of Michigan.
Yes.
And she's Yoruba. I know she says her name is Wami. Wami in short. So Dr. Wami, a big thumbs up to you if you are watching. It's been a fantastic time, but we'll have to call the show to an end because of time. So see you same time next week. Bye for now.